Put something on. You so cold, man.
It's the finest thing walking.
Finest thing walking. Let me tap my boy.
Yo, what up to the Creed, man? What up to the Creed, man? Hey, I'm finna put something on You So Cold. Came to holla at y'all about the right to travel real quick. Y'all know I've been talking about this for a minute. I feel as though I'm very experienced in this area now to really be able to speak about it. I've been talking about it for years, you know. I see there's a lot of people out there talking about it now. But I'm starting to break this thing down to a science, you feel me? And let me tell you, I'm gonna be the first to say it. Well, I already said it. It don't matter about having your status change on a passport card, state citizen, U.S. citizen, none of that. When it comes down to the right to travel, when it comes down to private plates, when it comes down to driver's license, it don't matter when it comes down to the U.S. citizen or the state citizen or American national thing, when it comes down to your right to travel concerning those things. Trust me. The U.S. citizen has the same right to travel with private plates and what's it called, and without a driver's license, just like the American national state citizen. Everybody can pull it off. Trust me. So look, a lot of people going about it the wrong way, and I know it's a lot of people out here driving with the private plates and then they get a ticket and they just never go to court, you know. So I just want to ask, what are your intentions behind doing this? And when you get out there and when you put them private plates on your car and you go out here and you drive around everywhere and you getting pulled over and every now and then, what's your intentions behind doing that? What's your end goal? What do you want to be the end result? Are you doing this because you fighting for freedom for us all? Are you doing this just because you want to have a one-up on the police? Like, look, you can't take this freedom away from me. Or like, what's your end goal or your true intentions behind it? And another thing, if you're one of those people not going to court, what really is your intentions behind it then? If you just letting them pull you over, give you tickets, you never going to court, you just keep going on about your life, but they keep on pulling you over, wasting your time. What are your real intentions behind that, you know? Because if you don't go to court, you're letting them win. They're going to put in a default judgment. They're going to say you're guilty. But in most states, bad registration or having no registration is not counted as a moving violation, like how speeding would be, or not using a turn signal or something like that, or not coming to a complete stop. You know, they can consider things like that to be a moving violation. So they could put a strike on your driving record. You get too many of those, they can suspend your driver's license, right? They don't consider registration to be moving violations, you feel me? Or not having your license on you to be like a moving violation. That's more of just a violation, you know? So they give you a little ticket, but it don't really affect nothing because it don't affect your driving record. It can't get you suspended. And nowadays, court fines that you don't pay just go to collections, right? So you're letting the court win because they're selling those fines to collections. They're getting money out of it. They're getting money somehow, some way up out of it. So you're letting them win instead of showing up to court when you should be showing up to court and arguing these points that I'm going to teach you about. And you could do this in almost any state, probably every state, but I don't know that for sure, so I'm not going to tell you. But from what I researched, almost any state you can pull this off, and it don't matter if you're a state citizen, U.S. citizen, none of that, you feel me? But the thing is, you can't just be out here getting pulled over for no reason and not doing nothing about it. You're letting them punch on you and you not swinging back. You feel me? They punching you and you not swinging back. You just taking a blow. Okay, well, nothing really happened to me. Okay, so if nothing really happened to you, maybe you had your guard up, right? You had a guard up, but you still getting punched on, right? And you're not doing nothing about it. You can't name me a sport that you can win with doing only defense. Name me a sport where you could do only defense and you can win. Name me something where you could do only defense and you could rack up hella points and win and just beat your opponent, right? If they on the offense and you ain't doing nothing but defense. Tell me, how do you win that way? What game do you win that way? You can't. We ain't playing like that, you feel me? You got to start punching them in the mouth back, not physically, but metaphorically, you feel me? Because you letting this system beat up on you and you not swinging back. That's not how we coming, you feel me? What's the point of that? There's no point in that. And we're not getting nothing done. We're not getting no new case law that we could rely on or whatever the case. So the thing is, all states, from what I've seen, not all states, but from what I've seen, so almost all states say that all motor vehicles need to be registered. So that's where that law comes from, that you need to have license plates on your car. Secretary of State license plates, right? That comes from these state statutes saying that all motor vehicles need to be registered. But when you look up the federal definition of motor vehicle in the U.S. code, it says that it's for commercial purposes. So now we have a conflict. We have a conflict because these are the same exact terms. Motor vehicle is not even spelled different. The same exact terms. Motor vehicle. It's not even, one has a slash and one has just a space in it. No, it's the same exact term. Motor vehicle. And these state statutes, as well as the federal law, the U.S. code. So the supremacy clause of the Constitution says that anytime there's a conflict between state law and federal law trumps state law. Federal law automatically wins. State law is out of the question. Federal law wins. And that's in the Constitution. This is the supremacy clause. And anybody who's been through law school should know this. This is basic stuff. Actually, everybody's supposed to know this because they're supposed to teach you the Constitution in school. Ain't that part of getting out of junior high? They have to teach you the Constitution. So it's like, everybody should know this. That's why weed, although it may be legal in all these states, is federally illegal, right? So that means, that's why, you know, back before we really seen Trump as president, back in like the Obama administration, Bush administration, you know, California was one of the first places that had like legalized weed, but it was like legalized for medicinal use, you feel me? This is back even when it was just for medicinal use. And you seen the feds were still raiding a lot of these medicinal shops because they were saying, although the state made it legal, it's not legal federally. So us feds can come raid y'all dispensaries at any time. And that's what they was doing. That Obama supposedly signed something in the law that said that they wasn't going to, he signed something basically saying that they were agreeing that they weren't going to raid any more shops, even though it was federally illegal, as long as they were, you know, in compliance with their state laws or whatever. But then they were still raiding some shops, you know, just because showing that we have the power, and anytime we want, we can come in here and take everything anytime. You feel me? So that's why even people that were speaking out against the federal law being illegal, they was going and shutting them up. You know, a lot of dispensaries were the forerunners of speaking out against the federal prohibition. So, you know, if they movement start getting a little too loud, the feds are coming, kick their stuff in, take all their stuff. You should have shut your mouth, basically. Just showing them we got the power to do this at any time. But nowadays, it's become recreationally legal and medicinally legal across so many states that the feds really ain't been wasting their time on that stuff no more. They've been, who knows what they've been doing. They've been covering up cocaine incidences in the White House and stuff. That's what they've been doing. But anyways, so what you're gonna see is even to this day, they could still go raid any state legal pot shop, bro. To this day, they can still go do that because it's federally illegal. That's why you can't ship it across state lines, because it's federally illegal. You feel me? That's why USPS, the United States Postal Service, ain't going to allow you to ship it no matter what amount it is, even if you shipping it in your same state and it's illegal. Even if it's just a little bit, just a little tiny bit, they still gonna confiscate it. They still gonna get the police involved because it's federally illegal, right? And they're a federal service or whatever the case is. You feel me? That's the same reason why you can't get a bank loan to open a pot shop or do anything pot related, because it's federally illegal. And, you know, the banks are regulated by the federal government, you know. That's the same reason why you can't deposit money you make off of that. Even if you in a legally licensed pot shop, you can't go deposit any of your money in the bank. A bank ain't gonna take it because it's federally illegal. So the thing is, if you get to suing them or whatever the case is, and you take them into federal court and you say, look, according to this federal definition, I was not in a motor vehicle, and they tried to say I was. So therefore, they unlawfully seized me. They maliciously prosecuted me. They did all these things, right? They can't come up and say, well, at the time you were operating under the state law. No, I'm always operating under federal law too. So they can't go back and say, okay, in this incident, state law wins over federal law. No, because now they're creating a new precedent. That's a new precedent. Now state law can win over federal law. And now y'all need to go amend the Constitution, because that's going against the Constitution, and nothing can go against the Constitution. So that would make it unconstitutional for that to happen, for the state law to be able to reign supreme over the federal law. These are the same exact terms, motor vehicle. So according to the supremacy clause, when state law is in conflict with federal law wins supremacy over state law. That's just what it is. So I don't care what your state is talking about. Oh, well, the definition of motor vehicle, according to our state statutes, according to our vehicle code, the Illinois vehicle code, the New York vehicle code, California vehicle code, it don't matter what it is. It don't matter what it is. I don't care what your definition is, because the federal law has a definition for the same exact term, and it's not the same as yours. So therefore, we got to go off federal law. That's just period. And it makes more sense for that to happen anyways, because how can states have different, what if the states got different definitions of motor vehicle? So now, as soon as there's some people that live by state lines. There's some people that work in the next state over, that work in a different state. They literally cross state lines every day to go to work. It's people that cross state lines every day. So you telling me that as soon as I cross the state line, the definition of what I'm in changes now? This automobile that I'm in, the definition of this changes now because I just crossed state line? That don't make sense. So we have to rely on the federal law. That's just what it is when it comes down to motor vehicle. And what you should be doing is always swinging back. So if they come and throw some punches at you, you need to make sure you punch them back in the face, punch them right back in the mouth. You feel me? So you need, I'm not saying this is what you need to do, but what I would do is take everything to federal court. Anytime y'all violate my constitutional rights, because y'all do this on a daily basis because y'all not used to people punching you back. A bully's gonna keep on bullying people until somebody finally stands up to him and punches him back and fights him back. Besides that, if he thinks he can just do stuff and get away with it, he gonna do that forever until somebody shows him different, right? Why wouldn't he? You feel me? So it's like, the thing is, when you go and do these federal lawsuits, if you need help, I'm not a licensed attorney, I'm not a licensed lawyer or none of that, but I'll just show you how I did my federal lawsuits. You feel me? And maybe you can just model yourself off that, because to hire an attorney to take on these type of cases, or a Section 1983 lawsuit costs a lot of money, and I'm telling you, it's a lot easier to do it yourself. And it's not hard at all. It's a lot easier to conduct yourself in federal court than it is in state court, because state court don't got no real rules. They just do whatever. Federal court, you got to follow the federal rules of civil procedure, and it's so easy. A kid in junior high can understand it clearly. You feel me? So you just want to go brush up on the federal rules of civil procedure if you want to see, you know, the process of what you got to do. And it's not hard. It's not as hard as they make it seem, because they got a lot of that stuff laid out in forms for you. Just go to the forms on the U.S. District Court website, and they got a lot of it laid out in forms. You just fill out the forms, turn those in. Lawsuit, boom, you feel me? You ready to go, you feel me? But it's always good to add in other lawsuits too, so it's not just the right to travel motor vehicle argument, and not just this one claim you got. Now you got other claims besides that, you know, besides that unlawful seizure for them pulling you over for your place. Now you got other claims to spice it up too. So maybe that plate thing happened one day, and then maybe a whole different day or a whole different month, or, you know, months down the line, you just happen to see a cop and you wanted to use your First Amendment right to redress your grievances, you feel me, against the to the government. So you wanted to petition to redress your grievances, and you throw up a middle finger, you feel me? So, you know, maybe you just feel that way that day, like, man, I'm tired of y'all bullying me and violating my constitutional rights. Take this, right? And maybe he wants to come pull you over for expressing your First Amendment rights. Now there's another claim, there's another unlawful seizure at a whole different day, probably from the same exact, yes, from the same exact law enforcement department or police department or sheriff department, whatever the case, right? Now, your lawsuit getting real juicy. Now your claims getting long now. You got a whole list now. Now it's starting to look like how is you getting out of this when you might want to settle, you feel me? Like real talk. So this is how you got to come at them. So go check your vehicle code and go see your registration, the statutes about the registration and the title and all that, and see if it says that all motor vehicles must be registered and have the title and have all this and that, and then go from there. Trust me, you wanna beat them at their own game. You wanna use their own laws against them. You wanna use the law to beat them. You wanna use the law to beat their circus that they got going on. You feel me? So you're staying within the rights of the law with everything you're doing. It's not like you're coming with anything that they can claim to be sovereign citizen and all that, because you know that's what they'll hurl at you when you start hitting them with case law that might be a little outdated. You feel me? It might be decades old and all this stuff. Now they want to start calling you a sovereign citizen, but that's exactly why we need to start making new case law. And there's new case law every time you take a case to federal court. That is going to be recorded. It's going to become case law. You feel me? So we need stuff that we can rely on from this year, from last year, from next year. You know, something that's recent, 2023, 2022. You know, and when we get into 2024, we already got people starting 2024 cases. So we got some 2024 case law. That's what we need. We're steady relying on this case law that's from 1950, 1960. What we gonna do with that? They brush that off like, man, that's back in the day. The world's changed. They brushing that stuff off. We need some new case law. You feel me? And another thing, it might cost you to file that federal case law. That's what stops the majority of people from starting a federal case on these people. It's because nobody wants to pay that money. And they're like, well, what if I lose? Now I get none. Well, that's the chance you got to take. See, if you got a job and you're working if you're working a W-4 job, you filled out a W-4, you work that job, you're a W-2 worker, you feel me? You're employed. You're already taking the risk for one, because that's how you live in your life. So you're already taking the risk. AI could take your job next year. You feel me? And you might not even be needed no more. And for two, you have to pay when you work in a type of job like that. Now, if you run your own business, you good. If you run your own business, you good. You don't gotta pay when you file these federal cases. If you are a W-9 worker or independent contractor, you don't gotta pay. You feel me? You might have to pay, but you don't gotta pay if you using asset protection. If you protecting your assets and you don't want to own them, you feel me, because you want them to be protected, then you don't gotta pay, you feel me? And on top of that, you can get free food from your tax money that you be paying. You can get free food through the EBT system from your state. EBT, SNAP, Link, whatever y'all call it, you feel me? SoCal, whatever y'all call it, food stamps, whatever y'all call it, you feel me? You can file all these cases for free, and that makes you a dangerous person. That's why I'm so dangerous to these people, you feel me? Because I can do it for free, so I keep coming at you, keep coming at you, keep coming at you, keep coming at you. On phone and grave, I ain't letting none slide. So, if not, if you is an employed worker, W-2 worker, whatever, then hey, just pay that little $300-something, $400, whatever, and get your case started. Now you good to go, you feel me? But if you not working under a employment type of job, W-2 worker, you gotta pay them W-2, W-4 taxes, whatever, then holla at me. I mean, even if you can still holla at me. You can still get that trust going. We gonna talk more about the trust. You need to get a trust, and you need to form a church. You need to form a church. You need to form your creed. Folks, now you need to form your religion, bro. I'm telling you, this is where all your protection is gonna come from. You feel me? The separation of church and state. Think about it. You gotta think about it. Remember I was talking about how weed was illegal and all this and that back in Cali? Before they made it legal in Cali, it was a lot of people in Cali forming churches. And they were talking about how basically weed was part of their religion, you feel me? It was part of their holy stuff, you feel me? So, you know, And they was getting away with it, bro. Like, because there's a separation of church and state. So the state might say, oh, well, according to state law, blah, blah, blah. Hold on. This is the church. We not under state law. Separation of church and state. You feel me? Real talk. And things get real messy when and murky when you get to messing around with religious organizations. You feel me? Because it's very easy to impede on the First Amendment right when you're dealing with religious, because who could tell you what your religion is? Who could tell you what you need to worship or how you need to worship? We got the freedom of religion over here in America, and that's a beautiful thing. You feel me? I mean, we all need to come back to the Most High. You feel me? The God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. At the end of the day, yes sir, yes sir. But I'm telling you, you're gonna find all your no matter what you worship. Man, I ain't did this in so long. My lips ain't even used to it. All this talking, I ain't did this in so long. See, I gotta get my lips back used to it. You feel me? I know y'all miss me. So you're gonna find a lot of your remedy in getting the trust and forming the church. You feel me? And I know how to form the trust the right way. 508, it's under a 508 C18 tax exemption. You feel me? It'll be considered a faith-based organization, religious organization. The trust will be considered a church. You feel me? Real talk, a convention. And I'm gonna also break that down for y'all. I'm gonna show y'all in the law. So I ain't just sending y'all love, you know, oh, he trying to send us. No, I'm gonna break it down for you. A kid can even understand it. I'm gonna show you in the law. You need to form a church. You need to form a corporation for that church. You're gonna find a lot of your remedy in these things. Churches don't gotta pay taxes. The 508 trust don't gotta pay taxes. You feel me? And there's nothing that can break in the trust. Nothing at all. I'm telling you. I got this stuff figured out to a science. I've been studying this for so long. I've been talking about this before anybody else was talking about this. I've been on here talking about this right to travel and all this stuff and your rights and the trust and all this before anybody else was on here talking about this. Go back into my videos, you feel me? Real talk. But that's it for now. I'm going to drop more stuff on that trust and that church real soon. We out.